So welcome to the Picture Language Seminar. It's a beautiful day here in Cambridge, Massachusetts. I hope that other people have enjoyable weather too. We're looking forward to nice talks by Liang Kang, Sergei Gudkov, Quanha Xu, and others in coming weeks. And today we're really happy to have Sebastian Palku. He's going to talk to us from Tsinghua University. And before being a postdoc at Tsinghua, he spent a couple of years in Chennai, India, working with Sundar. And today he's going to tell us about a very interesting subject, the quest of a finite, purely quantum group. So Sebastian, the screen is yours.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to talk. Okay. So I should share my screen. Yeah, is it okay?
Good.
Okay. So during this talk, I will explain what I mean by a finite purely quantum group. What I wanted to emphasize at the beginning is that it is related to many famous open problems. And there is two possibilities. So we don't know if it exists or not, but if if we can prove it does not exist, then it's an excellent result. But if we can make one, then it should be one of the most important discovery. It's like a mathematical analogous of meeting an alien. In fact, it's like that. In fact, it's so singular, so exotic that many people think it does not exist. Anyway, so it's based on joint work with Shangwei Liu, Yunxiang Ren, and Jinsong Wu. And so through this work, we will show that in some sense, such object could be, we could construct one. We have some tools to make one. So we will first talk about the motivation, starting from a subfactor and in a fusion category. We then will talk about classification of simple integral fusion ring. Then we will talk about categorification criteria and triangular prism equation. Interpolated simple integral fusion ring of Lie type, and then we will show a list of papers. So, wait. Whoa. Yeah. So, first the motivation. So, I will not explain in detail what is a subfactor, but we can think a subfactor as an inclusion. And you can put with some index, which is multiplicative according to intermediate. So if you have an intermediate subfactor, then the index is just the product of the two indices, like that. So we have this tool, and then you should consider the Jones theorem, saying that all the possible indices for a subfactor are this set. So first a discrete set on the left and a continuous one on the right. So we will use these two tools to show that using these two tools, we can make, in some sense, a kind of a sheaf of Eratosthenes. So like for a prime number, in fact. So what I mean by that, because of this relation, you understand, like as for prime number, you see that if you have a subfactor whose indices is here, or for example, in this interval in which you remove this, this set or these two number, then this subfactor cannot have proper intermediate. They cannot have this like for prime number. So Dietmar Bisch called subfactor without proper intermediate, called them maximal. And so the maximal subfactor are can be seen as quantum analogous of prime number. And if you are interested in, I will not talk about that now, but if you are interested in what could be the analogous of natural number, then you can go to my papers. I wrote several papers about Orr's theorem. I will show at the end. So here are some examples of maximal subfactor, which are irreducible and finite depth. So for indices less than 4, there is the well-known ADE subfactor. So the Dynkin, the principal graph are the Dynkin diagram here. For indices between 4 and 5 plus root 3, you have 12 subfactors. So the first one is a group subfactor, and you have 12 other ones up to dual. And for example, you have also, if for example you take a group and a maximal subgroup, you get a maximal subfactor also. So these are examples of. So there are many examples of maximal subfactor. But so if you consider a finite group subfactor, so the group acting outerly on the hyperfinite to one factor, the fixed point subfactor like that. So this subfactor has is in a specific class called finite index irreducible depth 2. So I will not explain what this means, but there is a complete characterization of every subfactor which are finite index irreducible depth 2 by Longo, Szymanski, David. So every finite index irreducible depth 2 subfactor is of the form. It's a Katz algebra subfactor, in fact. H is it's a finite dimensional off-system algebra, also called Katz algebra. And in this talk, we will call that a finite quantum group. So the Katz algebra acts outerly on R, and the fixed point subfactor, so every subfactor in this class are like that. But the point is that so as I said, my motivation is about the maximal subfactor. So the only maximal one in this class, which are known, are only the one for the cyclic group of prime order. We don't know other. So it's a question, in fact, is there a finite index irreducible depth 2 maximal subfactor, which is not of this form, not a group subfactor. In that sense, this, as I said, the maximal is analogous of prime number, but here it's much closer to. This is a subclass of maximal subfactor, which are even closer to prime number. In fact, we don't even know if there exists something else than prime number here. It's an open problem. So from this motivation, now we will go to fusion category theory. So so as I said here, we need to consider the one without intermediate. So what is the meaning of intermediate for Katz algebra here? So there is what we call the Galois correspondence, for example, in the paper of Izumi, Longo, Poppa. So any intermediate for a finite quantum group subfactor is given by a left coideal star subalgebra of the Katz algebra. So a left coideal star subalgebra, so it's a star subalgebra for which we have this relation. So the delta L, yeah, like that. And so any intermediate P can be written like that. So there is a 1-1 correspondence between these two sets. And so now we want to characterize. Next, so a theorem of Boursiou said that there is a 1-1 correspondence between the normal left coadil star subalgebra. So it's like that, but with this additional assumption, generalizing the definition of normal subgroup, and the fusion subcategory of the category of representation of the Katz algebra H. So there is a 1-1 correspondence also like that. And any fusion subcategory can be, in fact, is equivalent to the quotient of H by L. So using these two results, we can characterize. So so I wrote here that here I assumed for this theorem, in fact, this theorem was proved by Boursiou in a more general setting. In fact, we don't need to assume this can be proved for a finite-dimensional semi-simple off algebra over C. The Katz algebra, there is a star structure, but in fact, it's an open problem whether there always exists a star structure on a finite-dimensional semi-simple off algebra over C. So now we can, using this theorem, we can formulate a kind of a weaker version of the previous question. So any finite quantum group, if you take a finite quantum group, then the category of representation is a unitary integral fusion category. And it's of Frobenius type, which means that the dimension, the quantum dimension of every irreducible divides the dimension of H. Okay. So we call a fusion category category without a non-trivial subcategory is called simple. For example, if you take rep G, if you take a finite group, then rep G is simple if and only if the group is simple. And so using all this theorem, we can formulate a weaker version of my previous question, asking about the existence of irreducible def2 finite index maximal subfactor, which is not a prime number. So we can ask this question: is there a unitary integral simple fusion category of Frobenius type which is not group-like up to Grothendieck equivalence? So here it's the second step, like that. Next, quickly speaking, in fact, a fusion category is weakly group theoretical. What I mean? Yeah, a fusion category is weakly group theoretical if its Drinfeld center is equivalent to the Drinfeld center of a sequence of group extension. So I don't define what I mean by Drinfeld center. It's well known, but what I wanted to say that here, so a fusion category is weakly group theoretical is, in some sense, is like it's close to group theory, in fact, up to Drinfeld center. Like that. And so, so we are interested in here in a integral simple fusion category, but here there is a theorem saying that any weakly group theoretical simple fusion category is Grothendieck equivalent to the fusion category of a finite simple group. So, so we can we can formulate a ultimate weaker version of my previous question. Is that is there an integral fusion category which is not weakly group theoretical? And so so now what I mean by so this is a well-known open problem. In fact, most people think there is no. But I will show in this. I want to show. In fact, the goal of this talk is to show that the belief on the non-existence of this object is not that relevant. In fact, I don't know. I will show why. So, so what I mean by a finite Curie quantum group. So a finite Curie quantum group. It's so it's a Katz algebra, a finite quantum group, such that the category of representation is not weakly group theoretical, and it admits not subcategories which are weakly group theoretical, except the trivial one. So, so how to deal with this question? So we are looking for such an object. So what is the strategy? First, to classify simple integral fusion ring of Frobenius type, as we see as Katz proved that the representation of Katz algebra are of Frobenius type. We filter the result by all the known unitary categorization criteria, and then we try to unitarily categorize the remaining one which are not group-like, and finally we want to come back to Katz algebra. We try to associate Katz algebra to this this new one if it exists. So the first step, classify all the simple integral fusion ring. So for that I wrote a code in a Sage code. So I don't want to explain the details of this code, but I just wanted to show that so the code is quite long. It's 15 pages long, and people who are interested in this code can go to my website here. It's it's available there. Yeah. So here is the result published in a paper with Sheng Wei and Jin Song last year. So if you assume this bound, so the rank of a ring is the dimension, in fact, the number of simple objects. And so in the group case, it's like the number of irreducible representation of two equivalents. And here, this is a Frobenius parent dimension, which is for group case, it's just the order of the group. So for rank less than 5 and Frobenius parent dimension less than 1 million, or rank less than 6, etc., etc. We found 34 simple integral fusion rings of Frobenius type, and we excluded the one of this form with PQR prime number because Ettinghoff, Nitschitz, and Ostrich already show that that one should be weakly group theoretical. So we are, as we said, we are interested in something which is not weakly group theoretical. And so we found that. So here, this is a number of for the rank. Here, there are, for example, there are 15 of rank 8 and Frobenius parent dimension 660. And the type is the quantum dimension of each simple object here. So yeah, there are 51 here, but one among these 50 are a group like here. So we found, in fact, 4 group. In fact, if you continue the list, in fact, at infinity, you will find every finite simple group, in fact. But for this bound, we have there is a 4 group, and the other are new finite, new simple integral fusion ring, in fact. So the point is that now can we categorize some of them? Can we rule out some of them? So the first categorization criteria, so use the quantum Fourier analysis. So published also with Sheng Wei and Jin Song last year. So, so I did say, but every we did not find in this bond we did not find any one which is non-commutative. So it's an open problem also to me. Is there a simple integral fusion ring which is non-commutative? We did not find one, in fact. So they are all commutative. So there is this commutative short product criterion. So if you have a commutative fusion ring, so you take the fusion matrix Mi, you take the table coming from the simultaneous diagonalization of the fusion matrix, and you take so for j equal 1, this is the norm of the matrix, which is a quantized dimension also. So if you can find G1, G2, G3 such that you have this, so the sum, this sum is negative. So this can be checked, in fact, very easily, just by you take the table, this table, and you can check that immediately. But if you can, there is then there is no, they cannot have a unitary categorification. So it's a very strong criterion. It's so strong, in fact, that we were able to rule out 28 among the 30 non-group like one in the here, except the group like one. We rule out 28 from unitary categorification. So more than 93%, which is very good. So it remained 2-1, in fact. It remained 2. One of dimension 210 and one of dimension 660. So one here. Here there is 2, but one is ruled out, one is, and one here. There is a group like, and there is another one, which is also, which passes this criterion. So now there are 2. Now there is another criterion. So we call that a zero spectrum criterion. So this criterion will appear in a paper called Triangular Prism Equation. About regular prism equation, it's not yet on arXiv, but we mentioned this criterion in a paper about classification of fusion category of multiplicity 1 and rank less than 6. In fact, we already mentioned, we already used that. So we can, the paper we put on arXiv last week. So, so it's a purely combinatorial criterion. So you just need to know the constant structure of the fusion ring here. So you have the, so I will not read in detail, but you can, you have the fusion ring, all the fusion matrices, all this constant structure, and if you have that, then the fusion ring cannot be categorified at all, in fact. It cannot be categorified. We are not just talking about unitary categorization or pseudo-unitary or any, it cannot at all over any field. It's a very strong, it's a radical criterion. And in fact, so this criterion rule out can exclude this one. This criterion excludes this one. So now it remains only one, in fact, to in this classification. So we can prove. So this proves this theorem that a unitary simple integral fusion category of Frobenius type with the above bound, so this bound here, so is Grothendieck equivalent to the representation category of PSL2Q with Q between 4 and 11. There are some overlapping here, prime power, Q, prime power. or to a possible categorification of what we call the F210. So we don't know yet if it can be categorized or not, but it's a possibility. We already know that using triangular prism equation method, Yu Xiang talked about 1 month ago, that if this fusion ring can be categorized, so I wrote it here. In fact. If it can be categorized, then it must have a simple object with negative Frobenius-Shaw indicator. So I wrote the details of this fusion ring here. So it's a rank 7, dimension 12 and 10. And so the type 1, 5, 5, 5, 6, 7, 7. And so you can read it, the fusion matrices here. And so there is a kind of philosophical question, in fact, why this one resists so much to all these criteria, in fact. That there is no criteria. I tried all the known criteria. No one can rule out this one. So perhaps it can be categorized, perhaps not, we don't know. But we will show in the next slide why there is a very, in fact, I wrote very cool, there is a very cool reason why we cannot exclude it with the known criteria. So we show. So here we see everything is reduced to PSL2Q. And so I will now I will explain. So I will explain what I mean by interpolated simple integral fusion ring. So there is a way. So with this classification using computer searching, we found 30 new fusion ring, simple integral fusion ring. But in fact, there is a way to make a family, an infinite family of simple integral fusion ring by interpolating PSL2Q. So, in fact, I discussed with some experts in a group theory and computer science, Frank Lübeck, and he said, "So you can find the generic character table of PSL2Q on the software GAP. So there is three possibilities. We have to distinguish three cases. So Q even or Q equal to 1 modulo 4 or equal to 3 modulo 4. So here, this is the generic character table of PSL2Q with Q prime power of 2, Q even. So we see that in fact this table is very easy. It's quite easy. It's very nice. So we see here the quantum dimension, and So here this is parameter for the character, irreducible character, and here this is parameter for the conjugacy classes. So if you use this parameter, then you have this character. And so using the Shaw orthogonality relation on group theory, on finite group, in fact, you can recover the fusion rule from the character table using this formula. So in fact, the structure constant of the fusion ring, Nijk, is just you use this formula. So it uses the Shaw orthogonality relation. So it's this is straightforward. You can so you have so the idea is to use this formula. So to interpolate. So if you apply this formula, then you find this fusion rule for PSL2Q, Q even prime power. So it's just a computation from the previous table, but you see that in fact this so the main point of this fusion rule is that they don't depend on the fact that Q is a prime power. In fact, you can interpolate this fusion ring to any Q even. You don't need it to be a prime power. And so it's a theorem, in fact, that we have to show that this, if you interpolate it, then it's also a fusion ring. And it's a theorem. In fact, it's a fusion ring. And in fact, the table for this fusion ring is exactly also recover that. So it's okay. And so the very cool stuff, the very cool observation is that the one which remain in the previous classification, F210, in fact, is exactly this one for Q equals 6. So it's interpolation of PSL2Q for Q equals 6. So that's why, in fact, that's why this one was so hard to rule out, in fact, because it shares all the good arithmetical property of PSL2Q. Because here this does not depend on the fact that Q is a prime power. So every criterion we work here, work for the interpolation, so work for this one. So this is very good, in fact, very good. Here I put the table for the two other cases. It's a bit more complicated, but it's okay. So Q equal 1 mod 4 and Q equal 3 mod 4. So we can make the same computation. We can make the fusion ring, and you get two other infinite family of new simple integral fusion ring. And okay. So in fact, all this stuff cannot be ruled out from any known criterion. In fact, any no. So the next step is to categorify. So the ID is to compute one ID, one for the future, to compute the F symbol for the group case, when Q is a prime power, and to see how they can be interpolated for Q non-prime power. So the point is that a priori they cannot be interpolated directly, because this for Q, when Q is a prime power here, this representation is this category is called symmetric. It's a symmetric braided fusion category, and we can show that. Sorry. We can show that for some Q, for example, Q equals 6, this category cannot be braided. In fact. So in particular, they cannot be symmetric. So something should be. So the symmetric property is broken. So we don't know what. Perhaps something else is broken. We don't know, but to say that even if we found the F symbol generically for the group case, it's not clear that this will provide a categorification for the interpolated case. But you can use it to this can be like kind of first step anyway. So what is very wonderful, in fact, so to show that so this was for PSL2Q, so group of Lie type. So, but you can do the same thing for any group of Lie type. In fact, for any group of Lie type, GQ, Q prime power, you can interpolate. A priori. There is no obstruction for interpolation of rep GQ for Q non-prime power, and we see. So yeah, at least at the fusion ring level, you can interpolate. So intuitively, you can see that as a group of Lie type over a kind of virtual field, which is not of prime power order. So it is just philosophy. It's not there is nothing concrete here, but I like to think this like that. You can see this interpolated fusion ring as a group of Lie type on kind of virtual field. Like, for example, you have the field of one element, or the non-commutative geometry, you deal with something virtual. So I put a kind of joke here, in fact, because you can see this virtual field. You can see that the quantum field theory. You can see that the quantum field theory. If you think this as kind of quantum field, not field in the sense of physics, but in the sense of mathematics. So it's a joke. So I am. Here are some papers. So I am almost at half of time, 30. It remains some 20 minutes. So there is a paper, and I put some extra. So perhaps I will talk about some extra after that. So here are the papers. So when I talk about the Horst theorem, this is my previous paper here. If people want to know what I mean by quantum analog of natural number, we can go there. So the paper about quantum Fourier analysis with Sheng Wei and Jin Song is here, archive. And here are the paper, current work. And so this one was put on archive last week. And the three other ones are work in progress. So so before talking about some extra, because there is some extra time, if people want to ask question, can ask some question about what I said up to now, and then I can discuss some extra things, like perhaps.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so I don't know so much.
Identify yourself, but.
Sorry, JP McCarthy. I'm in Ireland here. So I don't know so much about fusion categories, but
yeah.
If you look kind of from the algebra side, have you able to say anything about what some properties of this thing, if it does exist? So my question would be, for example, could you rule out it being a subgroup of quantum permutations?
Subgroup of a quantum permutation. So no, I did not. What I can say is that this a weakly group theoretical fusion category, a simple fusion should be botanic equivalent to a simple group representation category. So what I can say is that if there is if a simple integral fusion ring, which is not group-like, can be categorified, then it cannot be weakly group theoretical. So I don't know if the example you are talking about are weakly group theoretical or not, but I did not think about it. But if you can show that they are weakly group theoretical, then they cannot be like that. Perhaps I can show one extra slide, which is in perhaps the same flavor of your question. So this is about braiding criterion. So I can show that they cannot be braided in some cases. So there is a result of Nick Shich saying that so a non-degenerate integral braided fusion category takes C like that. If there is a simple object of prime power quantum dimension, then there must be a non-trivial symmetric subcategory. So as a color, using that, you can show that the interpolated PSL2Q category I talked about, if so if you can Q is not a prime power, so if there is if there is a simple object which is a prime power, then they cannot be braided using that. So I made the computation, and in fact, this criterion can rule out most of this category from having a braiding. So for Q less than 200, the first here is a list of the one who cannot be ruled out from braiding using this criterion, because in these cases, the quantum dimension, there is no quantum dimension of prime power. So you see that for every Q even less than 34, they cannot be braided. So, yeah. For example, for Q equals 6, for Q equal, for the one cannot, F210 we talk about, Q equals 6, it cannot be braided. It can exist, but it cannot be braided. In particular, it cannot be, yeah. So, yeah. Any other question before I continue? No?
Go on.
No, the point is that, yeah, I want to say something here, is that most people in fusion category theory, so perhaps I can ask a question myself here, if there is an expert in fusion category theory in the audience, is why people believe that there is no integral fusion category which are not weakly group theoretical. Most people think there is no. In fact, it's like people saying, oh, there is no alien. We never see an alien, so this does not exist. But in fact, this is not a good way to believe. In fact, it's not because you never see something that it does not exist. So if there is I show that there is some infinitely many infinite families of simple integral fusion. In my opinion, this is enough to stop to believe that integral fusion category should be weakly group theoretical. I don't know. If, I am interested in some, I don't know, some philosophical argument why this should be true or not. But anyway, no one. Okay. So at least I have 15 minutes more. So so here this is a theorem to show why when you interpolate the character table before, then you recover what you get is really a fusion ring. So I will read that. So if you take F, the commutative fusion ring, so like before the fusion matrices, there's a simultaneous diagonalization. So I call that this table, the table like that, I call that eigen table. So yeah. So if so this is eigen table. Now theorem, if you start from any formal table, you take a formal table, and you consider the space of function from this finite set to C, you take some inner product, and you consider the function lambda I defined by lambda ij equal lambda ij like that. you assume that the inner product is orthogonal, orthonormal on this, it's an orthonormal basis here. You consider the, the pointwise multiplication like that. The multiplication operator here. You consider this specific operator, mi, multiplication by lambda I. And you assume that there is a unique I star, so that the adjoint of mi is mi star, like that. So the dual of the fusion ring corresponds to the adjoint of the matrices. And you take M1's identity. Then, if you assume that this is a non-negative integer, then these numbers are exactly structure constant of commutative fusion ring with this as eigentable. And every eigentable of commutative fusion ring are like that. In fact, so this is a complete characterization of what should be eigentable of commutative fusion ring. So using that, you can show that the previous interpolated character table is really the character table of a fusion ring, what we call the interpolated fusion ring. So that's one point. So that I already talked about. Yeah. So here we classify all the fusion ring which are of Frobenius type. We restrict it to Frobenius type for two reasons. One reason is that it's an open problem whether there exists fusion rings which are not of Frobenius type. By Frobenius type, I mean, I recall that by Frobenius type, I mean that the quantile dimension should divide the full dimension. The quantum dimension of a simple object should divide the global dimension. And I also restrict to that because I'm interested in a finite quantum group, in particular Katz algebra. And Katz proved that the representation of a Katz algebra is of Frobenius type. So that's why I was interested in restricted to Frobenius type. But it's an open problem whether there is fusion categories which are not of Frobenius type. So we can take the same code and try to classify the ones which are not of Frobenius type. So, so Eittinghoff, Nietzsche, Ostrich proved that any weakly group theoretical fusion category should be of Frobenius type. Okay. So using the previous code, I found 21 simple integral fusion rings not of Frobenius type. If you take rank less than 7 and dimension less than 1050 and 500 with this restriction also. And among these 21, only 4 pass the Schur product criterion we talked, the first criterion we talked about before. So among the 21, there are 4, these 4 one pass the criterion. So rank 6, 7, like that. So they are all, most of them are big multiplicities. Multiplicities is the maximal of the entry of the fusion matrices. And in fact, this is bad. In fact, if more the multiplicity is high, and more is difficult to categorify. In fact, so multiplicity 10, 11. In fact, we can systematically categorify only at multiplicity 1, in fact. At multiplicity greater than 1, in some cases, we can categorify. We have some strategy in some cases, but in general, it's very hard. And so there is another criterion I did not talk about. It's called using the Drinfeld center. And in fact, using this criterion, this criterion, so for people who know that, there is a notion of formal codegree, which generalizes the notion of size of conjugacy classes, size of, I don't remember. So the quantum codegree should divide the Frobenius point dimension. And so this criterion can rule out the first and the last one. So it reminds the two in the middle pass also this criterion. Yeah. So it's interesting. In fact, there is here there is two candidates for this open problem, but the point is that this is very difficult. In fact, we don't know how to categorize that. In fact, we discussed with Just, the guy who talked last week. And in fact, in his database, he has also some object like that also. So here I want to mention another open problem which I already talked about. During all this classification, we never found any simple integral fusion ring which is non-commutative, which is yeah. So it's a new open problem. Is there a non-commutative simple integral fusion ring? Yeah, I don't know. Just interesting. And so finally, this is the last slide. So this is what we published last week with Sheng Wei and Yung Xiang. So, so this is, yeah. So I want to say that this is overlapping with the work of the Just who talked last week. But in fact, this was done independently. So here is the theorem, in fact. So you have the classification of all the Grothendieck ring. So Grothendieck ring means fusion ring which can be categorized over a complex field here. So multiplicity 1 up to rank 6. So here is a full classification up to Grothendieck equivalence. So here there should be Grothendieck equivalent to this known category. So the one coming from group here, group or representation of group. Here the near group, also called Tambaria-Magami. Here the one coming from V group here, and here one coming from a subfactor. Or you can have some product of two here. So here for the known one. And we found new Grothendieck ring, which are not known in some sense, but from some of them, they can be modelized with a new construction called Zestin construction. There is a paper, in fact, which is on arXiv, not yet published. It was, I guess, this was on arXiv last month or something like that. So some of them can be modelized with Zestin. So we found 6 new like that. Yeah. And we, in fact, also in the paper, we use the triangular prism equation Yung Xiang talked about 1 month ago to categorize. In fact, we provide several possible categorification for each. And so the Zestin is just one possible categorification. We don't even prove that this is the one we found. So at least that we found new category. And in fact, I have no more slides, so I can come back here and thank you for your attention. And if you have more questions.
Well, thank you very much for a wonderful talk, Sebastian, and also for educating us about a new type of quantum field theory. So I see Jörg Froelich turned on his microphone. Jörg, do you have a question?
I just wanted to applaud. I really enjoyed this talk. It was great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So do other people have questions? You had so many open questions that are interesting that you brought up. I'm sure that the experts here have some comment.
Yeah, so if there are some experts who can explain me what I said before, what about integral fusion category and weakly group theoretical, why people think this is true, or believe it is true. I don't understand this belief, in fact. If someone can explain or can comment about that.
Are there no comments? So tell us the timescale for
I saw
some of
some.
the other papers. Oh, there's a question from Ruben Marcos. Marto.
I don't know if I saw something, but I cannot.
Ruben Martos asked, what kind of consequences could you deduce from the existence of such fusion categories?
I can deduce that a mathematical alien exists. But no, this is not good. Yeah, what kind of consequences?
Maybe I can give some comments on that question.
This is Chengwei.
Yeah, this is Zhongwei. And like you see in this talk, Sebastian mentioned, we actually not only have one candidate, we actually have a family of fusion rings. And they may somehow behave like the representations of PSL2Q. The Q is not like prime power. So if we have a such categorification, that means we have some kind of like quantum field theory or somehow like the non-commutative analog of something commutative. So this may give you a quite new view of something we are familiar with, like fields, finite fields, but in a more quantum world. This will be just something purely new, and I think that will just make a quite new branch in mathematics. But so far, it's still conjecture. We have those fusion rings, but the categorification even for the first one, like PSL2Q, is so difficult on both sides. Either build them out or construct them. Just on both sides, it's so difficult. So somehow it's good to root it out, and it's also good to construct them. And if we can construct a new family, I believe it will be quite interesting.
Yeah, this is Rad. So you mentioned about finite fields. Is this a new model for finite fields? So there are other finite fields like p-adic numbers, where p is a prime number. So you are saying that this could be, these fusion categories can be thought of as a quantum analogs of those finite fields?
This fusion category, if they exist, they could be
If they exist, okay.
built on some quantum analog of finite fields. Like PSL2Q, this Q is not really a finite field. It's just something different. But still, conceptually, it's actually possible. And if it exists, it would be the most conceptual candidate of such integral, simple integral fusion category. But we are somehow looking for that. And it takes some work to figure out the existence or non-existence.
So you're introducing non-commutativity into finite fields. That's
yes.
Okay.
Yes, quantum, yeah.
That's interesting.
Actually, I really like this word, quantum field theory.
I do too.
Thank you for the answer.
Ruben, do you have another comment?
Oh, no, I was just saying thank you. Sorry, I cannot turn on my video.
Does anybody else have a comment? So Sebastian, what is the timescale for the rest of these papers?
Oh,
Without
yeah.
Mentioned.
So there are several papers, in fact, not the same time. In fact, this one, so this one is already on archive. This one and this one should come soon, and this one will come later. In fact, I guess. So I don't know. I don't know soon. In fact, Yung Xiang say the same thing 1 month ago. So soon.
Yes, it's hard these
Yeah, so
days to keep the time frames.
the paper are almost ready. In fact, we have this is completely typed, but there are some extra section to extra work to add. In fact.
Well, thank you very much, Sebastian. It was a really wonderful talk, and we look forward to seeing the outcomes.
Thank you.
See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.